Today we come to Genesis chapter 11. Up to this point, humanity is spreading across the earth, but they are still ununified. They share one language and a common purpose, but now we begin to see something deeper. Unity that is not centered on God. I will read key passages, and I encourage you to read the full chapter on your own. The full reading reference is provided for you below. Genesis chapter 11, verse 2. Let's get started. It says that as people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. This direction, east, it matters. Throughout scripture, moving east is often connected with moving away from God's presence. After the fall, Adam and Eve are sent out toward the east. Cain settles east of Eden. Now again, humanity moves east and settles. This is not just geography, it reflects direction. Then we see their intention. Genesis chapter 11, verses 3 to 4 shows the people speaking together, saying, "Come, let us make bricks. Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." Notice what is happening. Let us build. Let us make a name for ourselves. This is unity. It is definitely unity, but it is centered on self and not God. God had already commanded humanity to fill the earth, but instead of spreading, they gather. Instead of trusting God's name, they seek to establish their own. This is not just constructions. It is rebellion expressed through unity. Then God responds. Looking at Genesis chapter 11 and verse 5, it says that the Lord comes down to see the city and the tower. This shows that no matter how high humanity builds, it does not reach God. God then says that if they remain one people with one language, nothing they plan will be impossible for them. So he acts. He confuses their language so they can no longer understand each other. And he scatters them over the face of the earth. Get a hold of that. The place is called Babel because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. So, what they were trying to avoid, being scattered, becomes the very outcome. Y'all, God's will stands. Humanity is divided not as random judgment, but as a direct response to unified rebellion. Then the chapter shifts. From the nations, the focus narrows again. Genesis chapter 11, verses 10 to 26, traces the line from Shem forward. This genealogy leads to one man, Abram. The story is moving from all nations to one family through whom God will work. This is where that shift happens. Then we see Abram introduced. Genesis chapter 11, 27 to 32 gives us his family, his father Terah, his wife Sarai, and his nephew Lot. They begin a journey from Ur of the Chaldeans toward Canaan, but they stop in Haran and settle there. The movement has started, but it is not yet complete. God's call is about to come. What Genesis 11 shows us is this: unity without God leads to rebellion. Humanity seeks its own name instead of God's. God's purposes cannot be stopped. And even in judgment, God is directing the story forward. Now, let's get to the connection across Scripture. One of my favorite parts. This chapter connects directly to what comes next. At Babel, people tried to make a name for themselves. In Genesis chapter 12, God will tell Abram, I will make your name great. One is self-exalting. The other is God-given. Also, where languages are divided here in Genesis chapter 11, later in Acts chapter 2, languages are used to proclaim God's works in people so people can understand. Division at Babel, proclamation and understanding later. The story continues to move forward. Now, I encourage you to read chapter 11 of Genesis in full. Pay attention to the direction, the intentions, and how God responds. Then tomorrow, we'll continue in chapter 12, where everything begins to focus on one man.